will be a red flag. Mostert has had a terrible accident at the top of the hill.
Back in 2015, there was one of the craziest crashes up at Mount Panorama, where Chaz Mostert hit the wall there and ricocheted through like a pinball. On our arrival there, I was quickly informed by the first crew that arrived that he'd suffered a leg injury.
The car off, he said, "I'm broken, man."
Okay. Is that a broken left leg?
Is it?
Yep.
Get an Alpha, code 2. Take a steering wheel off the wall.
First person that was there to try and take control of the situation was Dr. Carl. You know, you're sitting there and you know that you're pretty banged up and your body's pretty damaged. You really need someone that's you know, an expert in that to take control of the situation, but also the easiest way to not hurt anything else that is already damaged on the way out.
Just lean forward for me. That's it, that's fine.
Grab my leg, please, support my leg.
Which one? Adam, other leg.
Left.
Hold it up straight.
Through the crash side, he was awesome from getting me out of the car and his team to getting me down to the medical centre to keep the pain relief going and start working out what the injuries are. But since 2015 to where we are now, we're always moving forward with different parts in the car. You know, the biggest thing is the leg support nowadays in the car. You know, it's great to know that there's a team there like Dr. Carl and Supercars that are always trying to move forward and keep making it safe for drivers.
If for some reason this door's deformed and you can't physically open that door, this is a deliberate door grab. So you can actually pull on that, it'll release these Christmas studs, and this panel will come out, and then you lift it up, and this whole window will come out of the way. Then you can at least see the driver. There has been occasions where we've pulled a driver out of the window because the door would not open. Motorsport still is obviously dangerous, and that's why my role exists. But thankfully, especially in supercars, we've increased the level of safety as far as we can go currently. Typically when we arrive at an event, I run a training session. It gets people excited, you know, getting up close to the race cars. They do have intimate access to the cockpit area and explanations of how the safety systems work. The rule about these is that the window net has to be connected to the chassis, not to the window, the door. And the idea is it stops limb parts from exiting the vehicle if there was a rollover or so. The rule about them is that it must be able to be released by the driver with one hand, so there's a trigger on the other side and one for the rescuer, and they're all spring-loaded and they come away.
So Dr. Carl came aboard with V8 Supercars about 13 years ago. I think it's probably been 10 years since Dr. Carl, and we've worked together regularly. The ability to feed off of the knowledge that he has and help spread that amongst a group of people that do this once a year is pretty immeasurable.
He's been instrumental in ensuring that the cars are being built even more safely as we go on. After obviously Chaz's crash at Bathurst, he introduced the 3-on-3 extrication method and taught that to all the medical teams as we go around Australia. And obviously most importantly the drivers on track, ensuring the safety of them, which is of the utmost importance.
G'day.
How are you?
Hey mate.
Good?
Speaking openly, we obviously had that drained yesterday.
Yeah.
And they put some anaesthetic in there that might have helped for a little while, but is it playing up again?
When we're at the track, we don't have a lot of time to go to the hospital, go through the emergency department and get cleared to get operated on. So with Dr. Carl the other day, I said, look mate, I've got a golf ball on my ankle. I don't know what it is, it's hurting, can you help me out? You can still feel a little bit of fluid still in there.
Yes. The most important thing in my mind is that we don't do any further damage and that you're not damaging yourself any further. The important thing is that we've got a diagnosis. We know that you've got a problem with a cyst that's pushing on a nerve and it's just very irritating. But the definitive management will be to get that cyst cut out. So if you had it done this week, there should be no hesitation that you'd be fully healed and ready to go for the Grand Prix event.
I think just the way he guides you through the processes and teaches the drivers what to do at what times during the day really helps just through maintaining your injuries.
Set. Green at the back. On. Off. No flags. No flashing red light. On that first lap, that's the highest risk of car-to-car contact. Obviously, the cars are starting on a grid. Safety cars deployed. Yeah, go in front, go around the front.
Trying to get a thumbs up from him. I can't see any obvious damage.
So our role is obviously to get there as soon as possible, both to rescue drivers as necessary, but also to minimise the impact of such incidents on the show so that we can keep the race going. I think he's just beached. We'll go. We'll go.
Medical car continuing.
It's not a job I would want to have in terms of the responsibility. It's I suppose, he's responsible for the health and safety of every single person that, walks through those gates. I think that, his role is highly important and highly stressful.